See what the name of this is? The Real Deal. See what it says? The Real Deal.
Don't touch anything. It's the greatest find yet. Nothing compares to it.
But it's definitely something you should hear.
This is The Real Deal with Larry Lawton.
Welcome to The Real Deal with me, Larry Lawton, and I have a great show on today's Friday show. And as you can see, we have this show up on Spotify and all your podcast platforms, and it is on YouTube. So you could look at us. You can see what we're doing. We have a great guest and a friend of mine, and he's an amazing publisher, and he is my New York partner,
That's
the Bronx.
What I'm saying, South
Bronx.
What
my man,
up,
Pete
Larry,
Lopez.
Man? Larry Lawton, man. What's going down?
Pete, we're going to have a great show.
Yes.
Before I get started, I'd have to say, first of all, everybody, let's thank Oliva Cigars. They are my sponsor.
Nice.
Oliva, you are the best. You guys have always been the best with me. We've got a great working relationship. They're the third largest cigar company in the world.
Wow.
And they make the best cigar in the world, which is my cigar. So we are having fun with them. Please check out my book. Now, talk about publishing.
Yes.
People have been known. My book has been late about a month, but you're going to help me, right,
Yes,
Pete?
tomorrow.
We had some printing issues, and Pete's going to jump in on me and help.
Yes.
And, of course, Gangster Redemption is a bestseller, going crazy. It still is. We're taking a cover, doing a new cover. My cigars, the Crooked Diamond, are all over the place. I have a meeting this week with a German representative for the biggest cigar provider in Germany.
Wow.
So that's going to be a lot of fun, people. And Sam and I are going to be doing that. I have Nick on the board. How you doing, Nick?
Nick the Quick.
Oh, we're doing good.
Nick, there he is. He has to hold that mic. Yeah. He's like, he's stopping himself. He's stopping himself. But I got Pete here. Let me explain Pete first of all, people. Pete owns a publishing company called Publifly Press, yeah. And they call him the publishing czar. Pete is from the Bronx, South Bronx. That's how we met. I mean, we connect right away. And he's a publisher. I know what he does. He represents a lot of high-end clients. We clicked. That's the way it should be. And he does good because he really looks out for his clients. Yes. And I really respected that. I mean, you talk to me right away about your clients and how we can help them. We can do certain things. And you don't get publishing companies like that anymore.
No, the big five, they've been built. You talk about Penguins, Harper,
Simon & Schuster.
And I even remember the type of contracts you were trying to get. Their job is to own your life, like to own your assets and to take everything from you. I mean, in perpetuity. I mean, people think about a 360 deal. Oh, well, I'm going to get the exposure. Well, back then you needed that, Larry, right? Back then you had a typewriter and you had the brick and mortar bookstores. So that was the only way to get your book out. Nowadays, you don't need the big guys. I mean,
they're out of business. They're going out of business.
You got 3 million subscribers. They can't get that access to you. I mean, and most of them not only would publish it, but you got to pay for the marketing. So that's some crazy stuff. So that's where I know publishing is changing.
Let me tell you a quick story.
They don't even market it for you?
No, let me tell you what happened to me, Nick, and you'll like the story.
Nope.
When I was doing my book, I met a great friend of mine. He actually wrote a book called Don't Shoot, I'm the Guitar Man. And he was a guitar teacher in San Quentin Prison. And his name is Buzzy Martin. He's a good friend to this day. Now, Buzzy is an author, best-selling author, and we talked a lot. And he was published by Penguin. Penguin's one of the big five, like you said. Yeah. And he said, Larry, your stories are made. If you can do it, don't go. Now, this is 2012. That's 10 years ago. He says, if you could do it, don't go with them. They've screwed me already. I go, what do you mean, Buzz? He goes, all the overseas money that they get.
Yep.
Obviously, these big publishing companies, they lose the profit in expenses and the bullshit that goes along with it. And what happens is, unless you're Hillary Clinton or you're a Steph Curry who's writing a book and they have millions behind you to put you on a tour, they're not going to promote you at all.
No.
And I learned that when I got my book published because I ended up doing it, and I ended up I was offered a lot of money. I was offered $50,000, and then
at that time, that was especially when you were coming out of. That was some good money.
That was good money.
It's good money today.
And I'm glad I didn't do it. Wow. The best move I ever made, and I needed the money.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. Because, like you said, they own everything. Now, when my movie's made, and you'll be there.
That's right.
I own it.
No. There's no movie.
Oh, he don't want to listen to what he said. Watch this.
scared.
He's right.
No, there's no movie.
No, it's a
coming.
Netflix series.
It's a series.
It's a series. It's
At
a
least 2
docuseries.
seasons.
Yeah.
We talked about that in L.A. actually.
Larry, this is the crazy part. Talk about ownership, right? I mean, it's literally like a slave contract. Dave Chappelle could not, when he left his show, they owned everything in perpetuity. That means he didn't even own his own name. So Dave Chappelle, the Dave Chappelle Show.
What a great show,
Oh, it's
too.
the best. Because they owned all his rights. Like, whoever owns your rights owns your life.
That is the Illuminati.
I mean, that is, there it is. This is.
He went in hiding for it. He said it was the Illuminati.
I mean, thank God for the Netflix CEO that was able to buy back the rights and gave it to him. But even like, I had a group, En Vogue. They couldn't even, they sold 10 million records, made 2 pennies on the dollar. I couldn't even publish their book. Because whoever owns those assets, so these major publishing, this guy Alan Malnick purchased Hollywood Studios, and then he bought a major publisher because he wanted the rights to The Godfather. So that's what they do. Like, the books are the most important entry point, because if they have that access, they own your music, they own your masters, they own your writing, they own your likeness, they own your image. We even had a girl, she's massive on TikTok. And they were telling her, well, if we publish your book, you have to do so many TikToks for us. She had to do it for them. They weren't going to do it for her. So, I mean, just think about it. She's got like 3 million subscribers, and they're even telling her what has to be done. So I like that you were an innovator. Like, people, Larry, numbers don't lie. People lie. And I looked up your book scan numbers, because I'm a publisher and I have all the back end. And I'm like, wow, this dude has sold a lot of books, man. Like,
we have, we keep printing, another printing of 500, another printing of 1,000. And Pete, I do it myself.
Wow.
Did you know I was in Barnes & Noble? You can go on Barnes & Noble and get my book. It was in the store. I remember I did a signing at Barnes & Noble, and I got it in myself.
No.
I sent my transcript to Barnes & Noble. And I get a letter back. I got the letter and everything. And
was this when you went on your LinkedIn spree?
No. I ended up, when I did the book, and I got a lot of advice from good people who told me, like, you're in a good spot. You're on TV a lot. You do a lot of things. Because I was always on TV.
Wow.
He says, they're going to screw you. You get 15%, and that's after the profits, and they're not going to have profits.
Oh.
And,
Man.
I'm talking to a man who's a big time publisher. But what I've heard about you, and I've talked to a lot of people already. You are so straight up with people, and I know you. I mean, we've talked enough, we hung out enough. I love that. Listen, we all got to make money. We all got to eat. But you're not out to screw that poor person who wrote that book with their blood, sweat, and tears. Now, if a movie gets made and you help them get it, absolutely you should get a piece of the action. Absolutely.
But not 100%.
Right.
Maybe 20, 30%, but not 100.
Exactly. When I did my book, and now I own it all, and it's funny because I could talk to anybody I want. I could sell the rights to a movie for $250,000 and then be a part of the movie by being a consultant on the movie. I can do anything I want at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm going to talk to you about that, how to do that. You probably have some good ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
Because my reviews on my book are off the charts if you ever seen them. And I'm happy. Listen, my book, you know who wrote my book with me?
Ooh.
Peter Golenbach, who's an 8-time New York Times best-selling author.
Yeah. Wow.
You know Peter Golenbach. He did books with Tony Curtis, with Billy Martin, big sports writer. Big. There's pictures in there too, and I'll show you. And Billy Martin, he's done 8 New York Times bestseller. Well, one of them's with me.
That's right.
But,
that's right. 7-time bestseller. Yeah.
Now it's 8. But anyway, and he, what a great guy. I ended up paying him out of my pocket, so I own it. I did everything right.
Well, you even took the writing rights too?
Yes.
Dude, where did you learn this, man? At the yard, bro? He just
I heard you hung him over a bridge.
Well, there might have been a little curse in here. No.
Did it cost you like 100 mags or 20 stamps or some?
No, it cost me, like Nick said, maybe like a little hanging someone over a highway. Remember Lehman High School?
Yeah, Lehman High School.
Who builds a high school over a highway?
That's crazy.
I was
and John
there.
F. Kennedy High School was like over the highway. No, it wasn't over the highway.
No, it was
it was
on
looking
the side
down the
of the
highway.
highway.
Yeah.
Lehman was over
Lehman
the
was
highway.
crazy.
But anyway,
New York will fit anything anywhere.
they do, man. I'm telling you, I love it. I do miss it, but let me tell you, I miss it.
congested
I
now.
miss it, but I like going back for quick hits and coming back. You know, I don't want to live there. I don't want that hustle and
It's
bustle.
Nick, in New York, it was called PS. I went to PS 29.
I went to PS 72.
Okay, then you went to JR 172.
I went to IS 192.
It was IS,
IS.
and then I went to Taft High School.
You went there. I went to Lehman. We used to play you guys in
and
football.
then I went to John F. Kennedy for
We used to play you guys in football.
Taft High School was rough.
Taft Lehman. Wow, we were Lehman Lions, man. We're a lot of athletes.
Lehman
Lions.
Lions.
You know who came out of our school? And if you look on, this is a great thing.
Lehman Lions.
If you look on Wikipedia for Lehman High School, they have notable alumni. It's me. It's Cardi B.
What? Cardi B came from
Bobby
Lehman?
Bonilla.
Bobby Bonilla. He's still getting paid.
Bobby Bonilla. French Montana.
French Montana.
A couple other people.
Sounds like all the artists went over there.
Yeah. And I'm.
Did they have like an arts program?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But you know I'm the oldest one on that list.
No way.
But they have me. And you know what's the funny part of that whole thing? I didn't graduate.
You got your master's in hard knocks, man.
Oh, you know that, man.
Yeah.
But I want to open up and I want to say something and give a big shout out. I'm going to show you something you're going to appreciate.
Whoa.
And I mean appreciate. You're a New Yorker through and through.
Is this-
I'm loving this podcast.
Is this Illuminati stuff?
Well,
it looked like where
No,
it
it's
came
not.
from.
It's
It was,
not. No. I have a friend I met in New York City. First of all, he's the most intelligent. Him and I are like this now. We connected. First of all, we're the same age. Let's just put it this way. We're the exact same age.
You're welcome for that introduction, by the way.
Huh?
I said you're welcome for the introduction, by the way.
I didn't get that.
He made the intro to the guy.
Yeah. It was all
Who
me.
did? Nick?
If it wasn't for my
No, he
camera-
didn't. He
Oh.
saw
Yeah.
us doing a podcast.
If it wasn't for my
Did you know
camera-
I did a podcast, the highest podcast of any podcast? I did it on the 102nd floor of the Empire State
No
Building.
way.
This is how I met the guy. The guy's been working with the Empire State Building for 35 years. This guy's the most intelligent dude I've ever met about New York City. And
He's not your regular guy.
No, and we become very good friends. And I'm going up there. He's taking care of things. He sent me a gift. Now, he's a cigar guy, so we go back and forth. I'm going to show you something, and you're going to really appreciate it.
Let's see.
Now, this is my man, Gordon Black. Gordon, thank you very much, buddy. And
Show
this
that
is a
one
shout
first.
out. This one first?
No, that one.
Oh, this one first. Gordon, thank you very much, my man. You're the best. Love you.
Now, we're in New
Hope
York.
your wife's doing well.
Let's make this clear because people think New York City is Manhattan. No, there's 5 boroughs: Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan,
Staten
and Staten
Island.
Island. Long Island's not a borough. Let's get that clear. So,
Sorry.
you know,
We used to rob
My
cars
bad.
there.
all the
my-
time.
My bad. My bad.
Yeah.
people say New York City is not Manhattan. New York City is the 5 boroughs. You got to recognize that.
Of course, I love this.
You know?
I love when people say, "Oh, I'm from New York." I go, "Where you from?" Buffalo. No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Oh,
No, you're
upstate,
not.
like,
You're
where
upstate.
that studio
Anything
is.
past Yonkers is upstate, right?
Yeah.
White Plains. We do
Yeah, White Plains, all that
anything
stuff there. Yeah,
it's-
come on. Nyack and all that. My sister lives up
everything,
there.
everything outside of
The
like,
5 boroughs.
The 5
Let's face
boroughs.
it, the 5
it's
boroughs.
upstate.
Now,
Yeah.
Manhattan, what people don't know, that even has towns within Manhattan, like Inwood,
Greenwich,
and Greenwich. I mean, that's down south.
Yeah.
I worked in Greenwich Village.
Get out.
I worked in a mob place called Sal Anthony's on 14th Street in the village, the East Village. Unbelievable.
I went there for a coffee when I was working out of a Citibank in Wall Street, and I saw John Gotti having a little tea over there.
I was in a restaurant with him.
Yeah, it was a frequent place for.
Now, I'm going to show everybody what Gordon did for me. Gordon, again, I'm going to show this young man here, and he's a New Yorker. Now, you're going to know what this is, of course.
the subway map. Yeah.
When's it? What's the year?
This,
Aren't they old?
These are in the 80s.
Yeah.
Now,
So super old.
now listen to this. This I want to show everybody if you don't see. There's a great graffiti artist in New York.
Bro, tell me you're gonna.
I'm framing him. You know I'm framing him. Look at this. Love, L-O-V-E.
That is the most beautiful thing I've ever
Wait,
seen.
that is an actual map of the city. And this is a famous graffiti guy. A very famous
He's
guy.
reaching banks.
Huh?
What's his
Banksy.
name?
Not Banksy.
He's
no,
reaching
no.
it.
This
He's
guy
going
is
there.
Tracy. Remember Tracy from New York?
Tracy. No,
Tracy.
I'm gonna tell you who
he's
he
from the
is.
Bronx. He was a great artist from Tracy.
Wait, watch this one. This one's gonna blow you away.
I gotta text James. I gotta text James Cruz to give me the names.
Art and Map. It's called Instagram.
Yeah, we'll
These
put
are-
his at the
Yeah,
in
we're
the
gonna put it
descriptions.
in this thing. Gordon, I love you. Now Nick is gonna ask for a request from you, Gordon. Nick wants to call you later. He wants Spider-Man.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
well,
Nick
Spider.
because he's a real New York. Watch this.
I am a real New Yorker.
Wait,
Thank
watch
you.
this.
Oh my! You gotta be kidding me!
This, ladies and gentlemen, is done by a famous artist in New York on the map of New York City subway.
Talking to Mike.
The bus subway system. This is, I'm telling you, getting framed, obviously. You know, this is going to be framed right
You
here.
know, you weren't from New York if you were using that map because I never used the map in New York.
Of course not.
I mean, come on, you took the 4 to the.
And you know, we didn't have phones and stuff either.
Oh my God!
But now, I want to show somebody. This map.
Careful with my map, man.
Now look at
know,
that. Careful with my map.
Listen, this map is just, this is the New York artist who did it. Nick, we'll have to get his whole information, put it up there as well.
Yeah, I definitely want to follow.
Look
his
at this. It's got
It's
Chinese
at
in the back.
It's okay. So his Instagram is Art on Map.
Art on map.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I gotta
And
definitely-
He's a famous guy, man.
His stuff is clean and crisp, man.
Wow, this guy is amazing. And this map, I think, is in the 80s, I think Gordon was telling me. And it's, wow.
Larry, can
No,
you turn it
2020.
around?
Huh?
Turn that around.
Yeah, that
Oh.
is. You gotta take a picture.
Yeah,
of that.
take a picture of that.
I gotta
guys.
take a picture of that.
Look
That
at
is. Oh man,
Batman, is that
Art-
amazing?
his stuff is different. His stuff is. I've never seen something like that.
Well, this
with
is
the
being
glitter.
framed, obviously being framed.
Oh yeah, that's gotta be.
I'm going to show you a couple other things that Gordon... Now, this is my buddy Gordon. Now,
Talking in
he
the
knows
mic.
I appreciate Gordon. We'll talk at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. What's up, Nick?
I just can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We'll do that now. I'm going to show you another thing.
Wait, there's more.
There is more.
This is New
This
York.
is the actual tickets from the EP, the Empire State, the Real Magic.
Oh man.
Did you know, I've learned more about the Empire State. You didn't even know, and I didn't know. Did you know that's the most important building in the United States? Did you know that covers the whole entire East Coast up to Tennessee for communications with satellites?
'Cause the antenna?
The satellites and everything. We learned a lot, right, Nick? I mean, blew us away. This guy, Gordon, I'm telling you, I got to have him on just to really give New York. Because I'm from New York, and I don't know. Now, look at this. Watch this,
Well,
guys.
good thing we can take the podcast in.
Hey, look at this, guys.
That's getting framed. I like that.
That is getting framed.
Wait, turn it around.
For
That's
sure.
definitely got to be a.
That's
custom.
the way I
Look
want it there.
at that.
Wow, that is
I like
a
that
custom
side.
job right there. Oh
Is
my
this
God.
just one of the most important bills? Did you know there's
It's
how
the what?
many
The
cops
is
did
it the
he say
seventh
that
wonder?
are just? No, it's not a 35th. Maybe I don't know what it is.
40,000.
This no, how
I
many?
don't know.
There's like hundreds of cops that work undercover in that building, and there. When I was there, he said there were 8 undercover cops on their floor. We didn't know it. I mean, Nick and I didn't know it, but we ended
On
up
some
doing
floors, there were only 8 people. You know,
Exactly.
like,
Did they try to hit it during 9/11, or was one of it wasn't?
You know, that's why it's such
Yeah.
a secure building, and they have banks of monitors and stuff. He told us how they retrofitted it, and just an amazing guy, and what he's taught us. I mean, with it, I'm intrigued by that stuff.
Yeah, I love
you know,
that stuff.
Like you and I are from New York. You ever think that the Brooklyn Bridge was built in 1885 or something, and they had no cranes, no trucks,
AI technology.
No, listen, they had
computers.
horses and buggies, and they built that big across the East River.
And they went down like 100 feet. That's
Across the East River, you know the currents in the
he
East River.
explained how they did that.
Yeah,
It
he
was
did. He
Crazy.
explained-
There's only
A bunch of people
There's a
died.
30-minute low tide in the East River that you're able to swim there. After that, it's like 25,
Well, they-
23 and a half hours. Like you can't even.
They put the tube down. They filled the tube up with
Yep.
like sand or whatever. Then they dug the sand out. Then they put a ladder in.
Oh, unbelievable!
But then it started flooding and it killed a bunch of people.
Oh, so many people died on it.
Yeah.
And you know Rikers Island's
I
right
think
there.
that's
I
what
mean,
it is.
I remember looking at the East River. I was on the trash detail, and the rats. Remember the rats on Rikers?
They had
Remember rats
backpacks.
in New York?
They have backpacks. Rats. I saw a rat attack a cat in New York. That's when you know it's serious deal.
That's a badass.
I mean,
that's a badass rat.
Yeah.
That's Mickey.
My dad was a super. Remember the super, like a super, like
building supers.
And you know, we grew up poor, so he would get an alley cat in an apartment, right? You know, and he would throw the alley cat in there so he could get rid of all the mice and all the rats.
They do that all the time.
Yeah.
My brother and my he's dead. My nephew, he was 24. He got in the game, shot in the head, and he lived down in East New York. You know, East New York, Hull Street and Rockaway Parkway. You know the area, I'm sure. And I used to go down. I used to collect money down there back
was
for
that
the boys.
Crotona Park? No, it was the other one.
No. That's down.
I get my
Brownsville.
Brownsville. I was my demographic.
So I used to go down there, and of course, Guncha. Well, they had it so bad with the rats that the gas men and Con Ed wouldn't go in the buildings because it was infested with mega rats.
Yeah.
So they tried to poison them. They couldn't kill them. So they ended up having to get. Watch that. You watch your foot.
Oh, yeah.
And what they did was they had to get guys with guns.
No.
Because the poisons were no good anymore. They became immune to them. So they had to get people with 22s to go down in the tenement buildings shooting the rats.
They should do the Rat King theory.
They should.
Oh, yeah. That's a great theory. I remember seeing that a couple of times now.
You take two rats and you put them in a hole, and whichever rat it survives, you take another rat and you put it in the hole.
Yeah,
and then you put 4 rats in the hole. And
like
whichever,
Fight Club for rats?
Yeah.
Right.
And then eventually you put 50
that,
rats in a hole, and then the last one to survive, you let it loose on the village, and it kills all the rats.
It kills all the rats,
Is that like...
That's a legit thing. It's called the...
I've heard of tunnel rats in Vietnam, but I never heard of Rat King.
Well, the tunnel rats are people. But anyway, Gordon, thank you very much, Gordon, for that. That is going to be here, and it's going to be displayed.
You can't get nothing through Larry. You knew there were people that were just like the small people that would go through the tunnels to open up.
Fucking A, man. But, New York, and we used to run around as kids in the subways and under the L,
we've gotten soft because I think around 10, 11, I was taking the subway with my sister by myself.
When?
I mean, like...
Oh, yeah.
Early 80s. It was like you went to school, and you took the trains by yourself. You took the bus by yourself. These kids now, they parents have just got to wait at the corner. I mean, we were coming back at the nighttime because we were at the YMCA.
How about the Yankee games at night on 161st Street?
What? I lived in University Avenue, so I had to go all the way up that hill. And I mean.
Yeah, you remember West Farms and all that, and Hunts Point.
I would come back from those games by myself. Like 13, 14 years old, and you didn't have money for the train, so you just walked home.
13 years old. 13. I was working at 14 down at my uncle's printing shop on 26th or 15. It was 26th Avenue and 26th and 6th Avenue.
Print shop.
He worked at a print shop.
You're part of the book business early.
Yeah, exactly. He actually used to make books for NYU and stuff, but
in the bookie business.
And that too.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I used to take the trains Sir, I remember being in the trains during the 1977 blackout. And I was 16 years old. And it's mayhem, it's looting and crazy. Because I used to work down. We used to cut school, didn't give a shit.
Cut school.
I was on my first bus the other day.
Yeah,
Nick, look at that! Wow,
your first bus.
Nick was in his first bus.
It was my first bus.
What was that? Where was
the bus to the car dealership thing?
Oh,
that was my first bus.
Yeah. We went to L.A. and you had to take a shuttle bus to go get the rent a car.
His first bus.
He's never been on a bus.
That's huge.
Not a school bus.
Look at us, trains, buses. That's all we did. Mass transit.
The ferry.
Oh,
ferry. Go to Staten Island, the Verrazano Bridge.
Oh, yeah.
The thing about Verrazano, you go as a going in, they don't charge
I've
you.
I've never been on a boat.
$18, I think.
$20 now. $20. One way they only charge.
I used to live in Passaic, New Jersey, too. So that George Washington was like $5. Now it's what?
Oh, it's $20.
A ferry is a boat, right?
It's one way. It's all one way, though. It's all one way.
Yeah, it's all.
Yeah, they have a ferry that goes from Manhattan to Staten Island, and it gets packed because people
park your car there too.
Oh yeah,
those are the pictures you were showing me.
Yeah,
it was like empty. Yeah. It was white.
Well, that was a Coast Guard ferry. Coast Guard used to have an island there. It was Governor's Island.
Governor's Island.
I was stationed there.
Which was the island they would throw parties and events at?
Well, they had Ellis Island, of course, and then you had Liberty Island.
Liberty Island,
and which is
that with the girl?
Dude, that's Ellis Island. Yeah, that's the Statue of Liberty. Yep.
Because I remember I would hang out a lot in
What's her
Orchard
name?
Beach.
Oh my God, Orchard Beach. You tell them, you know what the whitefish are, Coney Island whitefish, or the condoms full of crap.
I mean, yeah, I saw Hector Macho Camacho with Speedos riding a bike. The Macho Man.
Macho Camacho, yeah. Orchard Beach was a big deal when we were kids. We used to see, we lived in Locust Point, so we used to go around Silver Beach. Remember Silver Beach over towards Orchard Beach?
What's your opinion on 42nd Street?
It's Disney World now compared to what it was before.
What was it before?
Back then, it was.
Were you a
Sedamo and Gomorrah. It was like debauchery at its. I mean, whatever you wanted, you got there.
Okay.
I mean, 40.
He didn't believe that. I had people call and they told, oh, you could watch animals on stage and do anything you want.
It was Sam that didn't believe.
I believe back in the 80s, it was. I mean, forget about the 60s and 70s.
I just wanted to see if he was at the dog concert.
No, I mean, I was at an event at a book signing last year, and I'm walking around 42nd because it was the Peabody Hotel on 41st, and I'm like,
so beautiful.
This is like. You can be here at nighttime because I mean, there's Grand Central and Times Square.
Yeah, of course,
Times Square was crazy. Was it Times Square?
Yeah, Times Square.
Times Square was crazy.
Well, they all were. I mean,
the ones with all the
42nd
lights.
Street is talking about Times Square.
Yeah.
That was so crazy. I was in the military. I went in the military in 1979. No way. So they had a USO down there. So you used to go there as a military guy, and they'd give you donuts, and they had a locker for your stuff or whatever. And we'd go there, and then we'd go to all the peep shows. We'd go to the animals fucking, all the sick shit. And I miss it. I know I'm crazy. No, I mean, I'm not a fucking that
The
weird.
best gyro, hot dogs, pizza you could get was there.
You wouldn't remember this. This is a little bit because I was a kid. They had what they call an automat where you buy sandwiches out of a machine. And it was, it was good, man. It was very, it's called Horden Hardens, and they had all these.
But you won't eat at a Wawa's.
No, we had Blimpies. Remember Blimpies?
Of course, I remember.
You're out here
Blimpies were great
You ever heard of
sandwiches.
Blimpies?
Sling it. No.
Blimpies was like
Blimpies,
the
I used to
original
go-
Jersey Mike's.
Did you know where I worked when I was a kid at 16? Bloomingdale's on
Bloomingdale.
59th and 3rd Avenue in the construction.
I used to work in Alexander.
Oh, Alexander's. My grandmother worked in Macy's on 34th Street in 1920s.
Alexander was like what Ross is today.
Are Macy's out of business? Did they all go out of
No,
business?
Macy's is still around.
Bloomingdale's is still around.
Bloomingdale's is high.
I think they all went out of business in St. Louis.
Maybe there. I don't know. New York still got. FAO Schwartz and stuff. You know that.
That was Kohl's. I'm thinking about Kohl's.
Oh, Kohl's. I don't even know what that is.
That isn't even. Yeah.
Good luck now.
How about the chocolate stores? The Hershey factory. They throw the smell in there. Remember how they do that? You went in there, Nick, right? Nick
the
loved it.
M&M
He came to New York.
I used to love the bakery at night, like 2 in the morning.
How about
you could get some
Ferrara's
hot
Bakery
bread.
down in Little Italy?
You get like a hot bread for like $1.
You can
and
eat whenever.
some butter
That's
and
my
coffee.
You can eat whenever.
That is what people. You know what I miss?
That's what
Pete?
You
whenever.
can eat when
You are in Melbourne, Florida at 10 o'clock at night. The only place you could eat is Denny's.
Yeah.
Or Waffle House.
if they are behaving correctly.
Yeah, if they're behaving correct.
Order some Uber Eats. You ain't going out. I mean, it's
In
everything
New York,
goes up.
1 o'clock in the morning, you want to get up and go out,
But
go
even
out.
that Uber Eats, if you order that Uber Eats here, it's shit. It's going to take forever.
3 in the morning. Sometimes I would just get French fries from the Chinese food place for $1, and you just put in a bag and some ketchup with salt, shake it up, and you were living like a king, man.
It was just amazing. I go out for drinks and dinner at 2 in the morning with friends in Manhattan when I stay there now. I always stay in Manhattan now. I love Manhattan. I also stay. Did you say I stay at a military base called Fort Hamilton?
Fort Hamilton.
I'm a military, so I can go on that.
How
base.
far is that from Manhattan?
It's not far. Quick train
What
ride
was,
across. It's in Brooklyn and it's in Benson.
Okay.
It's right
What
near the
supermarket
Verrazano
was
Bridge.
it? Pathmark back in those days.
But we put a Pathmark
Stop.
out of business stealing from them. We robbed so much food.
No,
and
he's so. That was not a surprise.
No, I
never did that either.
Surprise. I was giving it to him. East
That's
Fremont
the fakest
Avenue.
surprise I've ever heard.
You had that
man.
Fordham Road. You had one on Fordham
Fordham Road. Are you kidding? We used to, matter of fact, Michael Kay is the announcer for the Yankees.
Yep.
You know who he is. I grew up with him.
No way.
Literally grew up with him. We were kids. He mentioned me on some shows and stuff. And I knew Michael's father. He mentioned the story on a radio show, a big radio show. He says someone was like calling him out that he was saying something about someone hanging out with criminals. So they did their research. So the announcer said, the host said to Michael, so do you know criminals? No, he goes, do you know Larry Lawton?
No.
And he goes, yeah, but he changed his life. Because I used to get his father cigarettes. I was 13, 14, we could go to the store and get anything you want back then. You remember that too.
They did, yeah. Parents would say you buy anything. They were
the bodega. You go to a bodega, you can get anything you want. You think they card you?
No.
They could care less. They even have you an account for your family. So you walk in and they say, okay, put on an account.
Yeah. My dad, had an account. Yeah, it was, and it brings you back. I think that what was great about New York, and I'm pretty sure the other 49 states don't care, but it was a melting pot.
Absolutely.
You didn't understand what racism was.
I tell that to everybody.
There was no black or white. It was hard or soft. Kill or be killed.
If you lived in my neighborhood, you were good.
You were good. Like it was weird. Like it would be like a black, white, Puerto Rican. If someone's messing with you from the other neighborhood,
we're all jumping on
everybody. Yeah, everybody's getting jumped.
I tell people, you could have been a Martian. If you lived in my neighborhood, you were good. If you didn't live in my neighborhood, we'd throw you in East River.
They knew it. You knew it. I would come in. Listen, I would come in from Wall Street with a suit and
you worked at Wall Street?
Yeah, man.
Oh my God!
That was early. I used to do all the couriers, like they would sign papers and I would take them to another contract. And then one guy was like, "Man, you got to be good in sales, man." And then just thought,
my partner in the gangster business, he used to sell all the coke to the guys on Wall Street, and he was selling it for big money because they didn't care. Of course, there was so much money back then.
Money was flowing. Money was flowing.
But it's funny because what you said. It's really weird you come to other places around the country. We did not know races. My parents, I often say, they asked them, what the best thing they did for you? My mom.
Yeah.
My mom. They did. My mom does not know races. Nick will tell you that. Am I correct, Nick? She has no idea what racism is, really. I don't think my mom.
No.
She could say the N-word. She could do it. She never does. But she could say it and it would mean absolutely. She wouldn't know what it is. She has zero. My mother. And I mean this.
You definitely could tell her to read it, and she'd just read it.
To read it.
That's what that says.
My mother, and this is not a joke, my mother and father gave me the greatest gift of non-prejudice, meaning my mother was a nurse. She worked in Westchester Square Hospital. Wow. And then
I was born in Bronx, Lebanon.
Oh, my God. Well, you got memories with me. And it's, my mother, it was... she'd take care of bikers and gay guys and blacks and whites and Hispanic.
Gay bikers.
No, it did not matter. She didn't. To this day, my mother is the most loving.
I mean, just meeting her, she's got so much love and kindness.
90 years old.
She's still sharp. She's still sharp.
I don't know about that, but
at that age.
Yeah, she's. Hey, listen, she throws statistics out the window. She smokes a pack of cigarettes a day for 70 years. Doesn't eat right, never exercise, and she takes no medicine. It's no medicine. This kid takes medicine at 26. I take medicine,
It's crazy.
And she takes zero medicine. It just blows you away. Okay, Pete, I want to get back into what your business is.
Let's go.
Okay. How would a person, let's say, okay, I'm an author. I know the business somewhat. How does a person okay, he wants to write a book about whatever. Mm. Maybe it's a keepsake book. Maybe it's a book that he thinks he's got a great story. Maybe it's a cookbook. What is? Do they need a guy like you to guide them through things?
There's two ways to go about it, right? You could go the cheap route, the easy route, just publish yourself, but cheap is expensive, right? We're more like a hybrid publisher where we can kind of make it high level, traditional. A book will add 25% to the bottom line of your business. Like, you can be dumber than the guy that doesn't have a book, but because you write a book, you become an expert. Benjamin Franklin said, if you want to become an expert, write a book, right? So that book gives you a level of expertise that most people don't have. And the most important part in a book, Larry, is editing. Like, Stephen King will tell you, he will edit his book 7 to 8 times because editing is the most important part.
And that's before it goes to another editor.
Before it goes to a proofreader. I mean, so
I'm like that too.
So a lot of people they'll get their, sister or their cousin that's a teacher that can proofread, but that's not real editing. You have to go through ghostwriting, developmental editing, line editing, substantive editing, basic. There's so many levels of editing because awkward word sentences. So for me, the first part is to hire a professional editor. Don't skim on that because you only have one chance at a second impression, right? Well, I don't know what's that.
A good impression.
So that.
But they also have to know you. An editor, I remember when I did my book with Peter going 8 times. The guy got 50 books.
Oh, yeah,
8 New York Times bestsellers. But anyway, he said, Larry, he goes, the most important part of a book, like you just said, obviously after you write it and you do it, my story is so deep. He says, your editor, the editor we're going to get, and he helped with all that. He says, it has to be one that has to do research on you, because he has to know how you talk,
your voice,
how you you can't make me sound like a professor. No. I mean, it's not Larry, you can't make Nick sound like a New Yorker. He's from St. Louis.
Yeah.
You gotta bring whatever turn,
the tonality and the voice. So when I wrote my book, right, I wrote most of it, but then I turned it over to developmental editors, Vanessa. She was awesome, and she kind of, it was a mess. When she saw the book, she's like, this thing is a mess. So she made sure that she corrected it, but I didn't lose my tonality.
Chronological.
I'm funny in certain things. I'm straight. So when you read my book, I published like 10 years ago, Excuses.
Same with me.
It's me. They'll know it's me. So a lot of people, this is a problem we're having right now, and Amazon just came against that. People going like this AI route, these artificial intelligence like ChatGPT or Bard to write their books, and those things are plagiarized. So that means you're actually taking from a source that's already published. There's
But I heard an author say this though about that. Even if you use it, you still got to take it. You got to edit it. You got to write it in your own words. It might guide you, but it doesn't.
Data.
It might give you the statistics, let's say, but you have to write it. Like I always was a writer. That's why I did the law so well. I did, I got a law degree, as you know, and I was a very good writer, a brief writer, and 2255s in the system, in the law, and I won many cases. And writing in the law is so important because you have to literally bring a story to see. And what people don't know about the law is, as an inmate, I had a lot more leeway than a lawyer. They call it legalese. I didn't have to use legalese. And that came from a federal judge who gave us a class. He says, guys, you guys are smarter than most lawyers we know, and you don't have to go by the rules. Wow. Meaning, it's important that you say the words like, this is bullshit. Anybody can see that this guy was lying.
Yeah.
A lawyer can't say it like that because he's held to a different standard with legalese. He has to say it in legal terms.
He wasn't straightforward with his truth or something.
Yeah. Can you see? And so that's the difference with writing. And I always liked to write, and I could get into it. I was a reader too. I'm a big reader. I used to be. It's a shame I don't get the time to. You know what I read now? The internet. I yell at Nick because he goes too fast on the TV, and I want to read all the thumbnails. He goes today. He goes.
Well, he doesn't just yell; he actually gets upset.
I'm a reader, man.
Yeah. Well, that's not how you pick YouTube videos. You pick the thumbnail and you click on it.
So I mean, editing is important.
That's our age difference.
And a lot of people, even if you don't write, you can partner up with a great editor. And that's what I did. And a lot of people, I don't have time to write. Well, get a good editor to narrate your story and write it out. And then send it over to like a basic proofreader to do comma, punctuation, capitalization. Yeah. But most people are trying to do that before the story's written.
It's funny because it took me 2 years to write my book, Pete. I actually sat every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, for 2 hours in the morning. Every Saturday and Sunday. I don't think I missed but 1 or 2. And Peter Golenbach and I would sit on the phone and we would talk, and he would record it all, and we'd go back and forth. And he got out of me about being abused as a kid, and things I didn't want to get out of me, but you have to get out of you. You're gonna write a real book like I had. And then my book has been vetted so many times. Wow. Someone said, ABC says, well, we know your book. I mean, they've been vetted. I've been vetted by news organizations, the government, everybody else.
The truth is undefeated. You spoke the truth, and they can't.
And you know what's so crazy? It's just people go, well, you go on TV, do you get nervous? No, I don't prep. Nick will tell you, I don't prep 1 second for a TV show that I go on. Not 1 second, right, Nick? Is that true? I mean, literally. Okay, I'm going on. Okay. I get people, I do a lot of podcasts. I just did another podcast. I showed you.
That was a good one.
That was fun with Kirill. And so I do. People go, do you prep it? Prep? I don't give a. You want to call me? Let's have an interview.
Yeah.
I know what I know.
Prep for this. You said, let's go.
Well, I knew you wouldn't need it. Number one, you're a New Yorker. No. We click. That's important. obviously you know your topic.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to ask you questions that are not your topic. That wouldn't be right to you.
True wisdom is knowing your limitations. I mean, there's the stupid people are the ones that talk about stuff they don't know.
Yep.
I tried. I'm pretty sure I've said some stupid things, but I tried my best to talk about what I know. And when you do that, you sound a lot smarter than that.
I love talking about shit I don't know.
Oh boy,
amazing.
He keeps me young.
Yeah.
I give him that.
It is
Larry,
fun.
hold on. So you're a best-selling author. I saw the numbers. What is this like? Okay, so publishing the two most important things. I mean, let me do this.
I want to get back to that. Yeah,
and then we'll go because I keep looking at this book and I'm being drawn to it. So I want to talk about that. But editing's the first thing, and then the book covers the second part. Books that sell have great editing and great covers. Books that don't sell.
Thumbnail. It's same as YouTube.
And then you find the right publisher. Like we're not the lowest, but we work with our authors. We try to give them most of their rights. We have contracts with other studios, and depends if the story's right. We can pitch it. One of the biggest money makers with traditional publishers is foreign rights. So maybe they don't have your rights in the U.S., but they can take your rights and sell it to Russia, to Japan, and that's where they're making a lot of money. So we have that where we can shop your books all over the world. Get your traditional distribution, get your books into bookstores. So it's really not a self-publishing model, but you still own the assets. And this is the most important part. If you're going to pitch most of the, James Cruz, he's been a great mentor to me. He's, ex-manager of Puff Daddy. He's like, the book is the tip of the scale. You get the book out first, and now because you own all the assets in the book, then you can pitch that to a Hollywood studio. You can pitch that to a show. You can pitch that to Netflix because you have the book. The most important asset we have in this world is book publishing. That is the most important rights. I mean, that is.
I didn't think of it like that, but it
is a $1 trillion business. Publishing is $1 trillion. I mean, people say 2.6 billion, but if you add, Google is a publishing business, Facebook is a publishing business, because they all have all your intellectual properties. Marvel Universe, there are, all of those based out of books, comics. So the book is the most important part. If you want to own, your story and you want to shop it to other movies and you got to write a book.
I'm also, I don't know if you know about it, I'm in the Library of Congress.
Wow. Yep.
I mean, that is actually, I'm registered in the Library of Congress.
Your book, two of your books are there, yeah.
Yeah, it's in the Library of Congress. I don't know if that's where you found it, but
the Library of Congress number was in the book. The copyright, because people think copyright is all right. It doesn't matter. And no one's going to steal your stuff like they used to, right?
Well, first of all, it's hard to, because no big reputable company will use that book without knowing you have full rights.
And then, so copyrights is not publishing rights. Publishing rights is owning all your masters. People think because I copyright the book, I own the publishing. No. You copyright the book, it's a U.S. thing that they put on it. Library of Congress is very important because now you can get your book into universities and libraries, and then it's housed and indexed in the Library of Congress.
Mine is.
Let's say Armageddon comes and, it's the, the end of days, we'll find your books there. But publishing rights is your masters. Like, you own your rights. Because I know people that will call me like, man, they just did a movie about me and have no control. Like, White Boy Rick, good friend of mine. White Boy Rick, the Matthew McConaughey did his
yeah.
I mean, he's like 32 years as a nonviolent offender, and he because he told the story, they published his book without giving him 100% of what he owns. So hopefully now he's going to tell his own story, his own way, and work. I got to get him on the show with you and talk about prison reform and all that. But
that's my forte.
I mean, that is where he's at. So I think guys like you guys can sound the alarm, because there's a lot.
I've been trying, and here's the problem. I think a lot of people know about it, and here's the sad part. I don't think they want to fix it, and that's just sad. I mean, I'm not going to quit. But I think the powers that be are just making so much money off the system and stuff that they don't give a shit. It's sad. They don't give a lot about human beings.
Does the writer's strike pertain to anyone, like authors or anything?
I don't know.
It's more for movies, but it's not for authors. But there's authors involved in that strike. I mean, these guys are getting $113. One of the guys wrote for Yellowstone and like the head writers. But the thing is this: you give up your rights, and that's the thing. Like, you gotta own. I worked for a major publisher. I did very well, but I understood the only way I'm gonna own my brand is to own my own company. You will never fully own your brand until you own your own company.
Well, I know that myself.
Like Larry Lawton is its own entity, and if a publishing company had this, they would do whatever you want without your permission. But now they have to ask you. So I think a lot.
Oh no, they got to pay me.
They got to pay you. Oh yeah, they got to ask and then pay you. So I saw some of the statistics. You're getting paid, So I think that's important because even think about this. People don't even like all on XRP and crypto and GoDaddy. I purchased all my names. Peter Lopez, Lopez Jr. I mean, you got to own everything. If not, they'll take that. So if you don't own your publishing rights, are you suggesting to people like, let's say Nick, are you suggesting to a guy like Nick to automatically either just own your rights somehow? Should he go on Google? Should he get his name rights? Should he maybe even start a book and not have it? What do you suggest? You want to do it the right way. Right, like
give my audience the
best way to do it is this: connect with a reputable publishing firm and make sure you write.
But you have to have an idea.
You have to have an idea. You have to get your copyrights. You could get that $50 to $100, right? You want to, if you want, do an LLC to your own publishing company, and then we will work as an admin publisher and blow you up, but you own all your rights, right? So, you create your own business entity and you can even write that stuff off. You want to make sure your collateral is right, your framing is right, your we call it the galley, the cover, the interior, but you want to own that. If you don't own that, then you're in trouble. What happens is we do come in sometimes and say, hey, Larry, we will finance your book, right? And not like the major publishers, they only give you 15%, you got a good deal. They usually do 9% to the major.
You mean to the author?
Yeah.
It used to be back in the day 15%, and they'd wash that away. You know what I mean? Expenses, bullshit.
You're only getting. Think about this: a book on Amazon sells for $20. Jeff Bezos is either the Antichrist or the greatest genius because he charges a 55% retail fee.
He's a great. We just did a show on
55.
him. Monday we had a whole show on him.
That means on a $10 book, all the book distributors are going to get, a $20 book, all the book distributors are going to get $10.50. That means you stay with $9, $9.50. After that $9, you got to print the book for $5, and then there's a $4 royalty. That $4 royalty, then the publisher comes in and takes 90%, and you're left with 28 cents. People think they're getting, they think they're getting the 15 or 9% out of the 10 million they sold. No. That is cost.
That's gone. It's funny because when I got my book, and my buddy, I told you, Buzzy Martin, told me what he did. I did the numbers, and I said, okay, wait a minute. I could turn this down. If I sell it, which I do, $20, it's got to go up now. That was 12 years ago. So $20, it's $7.50 shipping and handling, so that's $27, $28. Then it cost me $4.55 to print a book.
You gotta buy a good amount of copies,
Oh yeah, I buy a lot. I buy a minimum of 500 to 1,000. And then so now I ship. I have ShipStation. I have everything. I do it, and it's kind of fun. I'll tell you why. I sign the books. People call. Here's why I did it. And you're gonna love this, Pete. I published my book in 2012.
Wow, you're way ahead of your time.
Listen to this, 2012. Matter of fact, the only other publisher, I am in the only ex-con in the United States who's recognized on the floor of the United States Congress in the congressional record. I'm in the congressional record. But anyway, so what happened was in 2012, I published the book, okay? It did its sale. I didn't worry about it. It did its numbers, all that. And I kind of forgot about it, if you know what I mean. It kind of went by the wayside. Well, I started YouTube, going crazy. People are looking. They said, listen, do you have a book or anything? I do. And they go, I can't find your book. It's only $200 on Amazon, on eBay. And right now, if you Google, Nick, can you do that? Or is it open? Google my book and see how much you see it online for right now.
Yeah, you have like these print runs that aren't even out anymore.
No. I mean, there's literally people selling my book right now, $89. $125, $200, overseas $300 for my book. And people calling me. I said, wait a minute. I said, let me stop this shit. I end up saying, I own it.
Yeah.
I called the printers. I called everything. I said, I want to run. I buy 3,000 copies. I sold them in a month.
No way.
1 month. $68,000 in books I sold. I go, whoa. This is my first time in now with YouTube, with the platform and everything else. Now, this is also during the pandemic, so I had a captive audience, everything else. So I do this, Pete, and I go, people couldn't believe it. They go, where can we find your book? I said, my website, 1995, period. $7.50 shipping and handle, and if you email me, I'll sign it for you.
Listen to me. You know why? This is a lot of game with you teaching right now. Amazon, if you buy the book from Amazon, Amazon owns the data. They have your email, they have your information. And they grid that. If I buy it from you, you own the data. Now you have an email list. You can say, hey, try my cigar. Hey, try my masterclass. Hey, so as a author, you want to kind of own your first world. People want to be on Barnes and Noble and Amazon.
You got to help me with that.
Let me own those assets.
No, you got to help me with this. We got to do something because I do own it, and I just don't know what to do with it too much.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I do, but you can only be dragged so many ways.
Have you done an audiobook?
No. People have asked me that, and I don't know. First of all, if I did it, how hard. That's a pain in the ass.
You can hire It's called the 20/80 rule. Ray Dalio did that. He had a 300-page book. He would start reading the first few chapters, and then they'll bring another reader in. And trust me, it's great. And then David Goggins did that. He read some of it, and then the guy.
Do you think it's worth it for me to do that?
I've been telling you, it's worth it.
Yeah, we got.
We
should put a vote. I would do your audiobook. I would definitely do it.
Well, we're gonna talk.
Yeah.
We will talk about it.
I think even if you just spent 2 weeks on it, doing it yourself, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, it's worth it, dude. Everyone's asking for the audiobook. They want to hear
what,
you
Larry?
read it.
You could conduct every chapter. You can talk about it, and it'll be an exclusive audio book.
Hold on. You do know what I did. Right?
You say just have Alexa read it to you, and someone goes, "Fuck Alexa, I don't want her to read it to me." Yeah.
Let me tell you what happened, Pete. What happened was how I really started YouTube, and I didn't even know what YouTube was until 2019.
Man.
I mean, I knew it was, but I thought you fix glasses and you fix your car. I didn't know how big YouTube was. I had no idea. So in 2019, I find out how big YouTube is. I start YouTube, and this is where I'm at in 3.5 years right now. But anyway, I decided when I did YouTube, I said, what am I going to do? How am I going to do something different? I took my book.
Oh wow, you got 4.5 stars.
Yeah, I do.
My
book,
on
of
eBay.
course, I do.
Let me write down 4.5 stars.
So what I did, Pete, was I took the book and I narrated every single chapter in the book, and it's in a playlist on YouTube for free. Oh. Did you know that was the #1 playlist on YouTube? That's what really kicked.
We got to do it. We have to. And then you can sell USBs directly. We won't go through Audible first. You have to go through you, and you can send a USB or Google
Can we
Drive
get some
download.
investors to do this too?
Yeah, man, somebody should invest. That's going to sell like hotcakes. Your audiobook, because some people don't even got time to read the book.
And they put it in there.
It's like a podcast.
Like a podcast?
Yeah. Like I put an audiobook when I go to the gym. I read, but I don't have that much time anymore. So when I'm at the gym,
you're right.
I'm reading books. So I mean, hearing books. So I think an audiobook, I think someone will definitely invest in it because it's going to do well. And if you own that, let's say the first 10,000 to 100,000 downloads, and I have an agreement with Spotify. We can blow that up. We can get it everywhere. Get you, bestseller lists. But you have it. You have your own assets, and you can maybe do an exclusive contract with Spotify, not even release it with Audible or Apple.
Right,
because Spotify opened up their own audiobook company.
You deal with that stuff.
Yes.
Well, we're gonna be working a lot together.
Pre-owned on eBay.
What?
It is
mine?
$364.
My book.
Oh my God.
There's one right here for $103.
Did you sign it or did you?
There's one right here for.
I'm telling you, my book is so wanted.
$200.
I own it. Only me sells it.
They're
now.
all pre-owned. I
own it. People bought my book back in the day, Pete, when it first run. And here's what I did when I came back. Listen, you're gonna like this. To jumpstart my book, I had no money. So what am I gonna do? I pre-ordered the books, and I signed and numbered 3,000 copies, and that was it. It was a limited edition run.
That's it.
And I signed every one, and they're numbered from 1 to 3,000. Did you know to this day I have, and you're going to end up selling, I know.
Yeah.
First of all, I have transcripts of the actual book that are going to be worth money, and I also have, I think, 5 or 7 of the top 10 numbers, like 1 and 3, and I kept those.
Man.
You know, so I have those.
Man, we could auction them off or something.
Absolutely, we'll do something at a book signing or a big deal. We do something when a movie comes out. That's what I'm thinking.
Voice is very important, Larry. I think because your audience is a voice audience. You know, video and podcast, there's voice because So right now, the public needs to get an audiobook. An audiobook from you. Right. It's like it's
always a third party.
That's why
I knew Nick was
you have to do it. Like the book for you would be so important. And we'll work that out. Then you release it exclusively through your people first. So it could be like you can read some of it, you can interview some of it. I mean, it would be crazy.
You come on, we do something like that.
You could like even have the gunshots and the BB guns and the cooking and all. The
BB gun,
the jury heist.
We
call it BB guns. You know what that
is? Typical New Yorker knows right away. He don't bullshit. Nick gets mad at me. He goes. I told you this, but it always takes the third party for you to change your mind. I said, but you know what it is, Pete? And you're like me. I am the person that will, if you convince me, I will change my mind. Yeah. So I'm hearing enough. Nick never pushed me on this. Never said this to me.
Well, no, I talked.
When did you say this to me?
Are you being serious?
I'm totally being serious.
I'm gonna put
Do you know how many times we've had the conversation that that's too much work for me, and I've been like,
stop it, Nick.
Larry.
I never do that. What is that?
Are you being serious?
I never said it's too much work.
You said word for word, it is not worth it. And if you're being serious, I'm done with the conversation.
Oh, you hear this? The producer.
Are you really being serious? Or are you messing
Nick,
with me?
I never remember you saying anything like, "Oh,
that's awesome."
I do.
This is gold. This is gold.
Because think about this.
You and Dan literally just had the conversation 2 days ago.
The best way to establish.
I do have early set Alzheimer's.
Okay.
The best way to establish your brand, guys, is books, video, and voice, and you already have that. So we take that book, turn it to an audio book. Then that audio book, of course, becomes a podcast, and record yourself reading, and I mean, it'll be. I'm pretty sure you do some funny skits reading. Like that.
Listen, I get it. I do get it.
He likes
People
to do the
don't realize how hard it is to read a book out loud. I'm a reader, a massive reader.
Right.
Used to read a book a day in the joint.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I was a crazy reader. When I was in the hole or something, I was in the hole for 3 years.
The shoe?
3 years.
Wow.
So,
and I would read.
How
And
did
I
you
used to
lose
get
your mind, bro?
I did lose my mind. I used to get so mad. I'd curse the whole tier out when these dudes would rip the back pages out of a book to roll them from cigarettes. Because they read the ending of the book. The literal end. I'd scream like a...
They did it on purpose.
Take the middle page. I don't give a shit.
They were doing that shit on purpose, dude.
I used to get so
I would
mad.
be doing that. That would be me.
Oh, I would kill you in the yard. I would go to the cage and I'd kill him.
They're laughing doing it too. Like
I would stab that son of a bitch so quick your head is
they were tracking the book too. They were like, I wonder who's gonna get this.
Lawton's got it. Wait till the explosion.
They're watching you for the next couple days.
Oh yeah.
Okay, here it comes.
Because you know what I used to do? I loved reading, and I still do so much. When I'd get a good book, and I read all Tom Clancy, Clive Cussler's, all of them. And what I would do is I would slow down reading because I didn't want it to end.
Wow.
I love reading so much. You don't want it to end. It's so exciting. I would read 3 pages, put it down. I got to read another 5 pages. And I would get so excited for the book. I mean, people don't realize how books...
Back then, when I would study in school, you had to have 6, 7, 8 books. Now, data is so readily available, but you had to have the dictionary and the lexicon.
You see, but encyclopedias.
The
Britannica,
my dad's brother would sell those, and it was just... You had to have so many books.
Well, they're still doing that.
And you would gather information.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
They sell Britannica encyclopedias?
You have to pay $300 per book, and that's why they're doing it. You still have that many books to have,
In school?
Yeah, in college.
Why? You got your phone.
It's because they're selling you the books.
You have to buy the books.
And you have to buy.
I cut school.
You
I was a bad
have to buy the books.
I got my
just to get
college
into the
degree. I
class.
got a law degree.
You know what?
But I cut school the whole way, Nick.
You know what's a crazy data, Nick? Right now,
Nick goes,
so
fuck it,
funny.
they don't listen to me
Yeah,
anyway.
fuck it. I don't. Who cares? Just trying to explain to you why you gotta have the books. You know, like.
Did you ever get picked up by the paddy wagon, Cunning Scoop?
Oh, no. They could never catch us. Are you kidding me? My mother thought I'd get straight A's because I'd take the report card out of the mail. And I really never went. I remember one year I had like 100 days of absence, unexplained absence. And they used to send in the mail. That's all they could do. It's not like they could, what are you going to do? How are they going to get you?
Now they'll arrest you. But back then.
Listen, we used to go to the diner in Westchester Square and gamble. We used to cut school in Lehman.
Wait, did they have a White Castles that way?
They had a White Castles over the bridge in Throgs Neck Bridge. They had a White Castle in
the best
Castle Hill.
Castle Hill.
Castle Hill.
Right on the Bruckner Boulevard.
Bruckner Boulevard.
They don't know.
Man, do you remember Busco Heroes?
Yes.
Busco Heroes. They was the best hero joint in Brooklyn. Yeah. I played baseball in Throgs Neck Little League too. My brother was a great ball player, a real great ball player.
I played Little League across Cardinal Hayes High School. Remember
Cardinal Hayes?
Yeah.
Wow, look at that.
Cortland Park? What park was that? Crotone? I don't remember that park across.
Do you remember Rice Stadium down in German? Was it Rice Stadium?
Rice High School?
No, Rice Stadium. It was in...
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Is it broke?
No, you were going sideways.
Is that what it is? I'm all over the place. That's Nick. He fixes the mic, so yeah. He's gonna get mad at me.
Hey, you want the sound is key. So Rice Stadium. I don't. Where's that at?
Rice Stadium was that in Pelham Bay Park.
Pelham Bay, okay.
Pelham Bay. You remember Pelham where the cops had the horses there?
Man.
You remember that too?
Cortland Park. I remember Pelham Bay. I was in high school and I was in the cross country team. And
running?
Yeah. It was.
What is your heritage?
Puerto Rican, from the South Bronx, New Yorican. We're not Puerto Ricans. We're
New Yorican.
And part Italian. So I grew up.
So you speak Spanglish?
Spanglish. Oh, it is.
Tú hablas español,
sí.
Sí,
hablo muy bien español.
Yeah, sí.
Pero no
Yo
perfecto
aprendo. 11 años prisión, todo el día. 11 años
You've got the same 4 sentences.
No.
Habla bien.
Oh, yeah. Yo necesito el baño. Vamos. Cierra la ventana. I mean, I know all
He's throwing him, Nick. Don't hate.
No. I got enough Spanish.
He can defend himself.
Yeah, I could defend. Yeah, listen. I
mean, you had all the Puerto Ricans, all the New Yorkers there, and I mean, and
Puerto Ricans that speak half English and Spanish, so it was like good. I like that.
You'll catch them. That's Spanglish. That's what it is.
It's Spanglish. Yeah.
You'll catch them. You got to catch them halfway. You're like, then you can cipher the whole.
Well, my nephew is Puerto Rican. That's why my brother's son who got killed too. I have 2 nephews who died at 24.
That's crazy.
Both killed. And he was Puerto Rican. He lived down in Hull Street. That's what I was telling you. Hull Street.
You don't understand, Nick. I lived in the projects, right?
That's
Brook Avenue, St. Anne's. We're talking about 18 stories. I mean,
remember when we used to throw TV sets off the cop cars?
It was crazy.
Off the buildings?
My grandma would heat up hot water to be fights, so she was like, throw it over.
Grandmother
did New York ship you guys all here like they did, like they're doing to the homeless?
He's taking the homeless, he's taking them to the Kenny Bunkport.
Go to Kissimmee, and that's like the South Bronx, man.
Oh, Kissimmee?
Oh, yeah, Kissimmee's like little New York right now. It's crazy.
Really?
They bust you guys here.
I'm so happy when I meet New Yorkers that are here because they just understand.
And the thing is, a real New Yorker, you better know the boroughs. You better know the schools.
Boroughs.
I mean, there's some stuff I've been out in New York for 20 years. So I still.
Me too. Prison and everything.
It's I mean, Rikers Island, Sing Sing.
I was in Rikers Island in 1978. I don't know. You were a young kid, and I was there in C-74. Wow. C-76. That was a juvenile unit. I cut a guy so bad because they told me, they make razor combs. Remember the razor combs?
I do, yes.
Oh, we made him here. We made him at a show.
He's like, hold this box. I was like, I don't want to hold this box.
I stabbed the box. He's there. He goes, Larry's crazy.
Have you been back to Rikers Island?
No.
So Pistol Pete, from Terror Squad, he is James Cruz Connect. He is doing a book, but he just went, and Fat Joe just talked about it. He just went back. He's been going back to Rikers Island. They call him the King of Staten Island. He was there for 20 years. Pistol Pete was. I know you.
I know him. Ask Pistol Pete about penny feathers.
Okay.
Fanny Feathers was my cousin's place.
I think you and
It's
Pistol
on
Pete
New
should
Dorp.
go to Rikers Island together.
It was on New Dorp. Just ask him about
That would be
how
crazy.
old is Pistol
Pete?
How old is he?
He's about 50. I don't know. He's about 50.
He's younger, a little younger than me?
Yeah, a little younger.
Because
yeah.
in Staten Island, Staten Island is new to. We also had the garbage business then, our cruise. But
everybody had the garbage.
Yeah, well, in their area, only in their area. Funny stories.
Is that why the
The Bob
goons
had
and
the garbage.
Spider-Man?
The prison had the garbage.
The
their
goons
cops
and
had the
Spider-Man
garbage.
roll up in garbage trucks, and they come and beat your ass.
Sanitary.
I got to tell you, Nick,
They
some
hop
good
out in
stories.
tracksuits,
Oh,
but they're riding garbage trucks.
I got to tell you, Nick, about a story. We used to take my cousin Jimmy. He was 400 pounds, and we'd put him in a suit.
Every Jimmy's pretty big. I never met a Slim
We
Jimmy.
put him in a suit
Slim Jim.
with another guy, two mobsters, and they would go up to the carting business.
Yeah,
It was like
yeah.
$45 a week you'd charge for to pick up the dumpsters of businesses. So they'd walk in, not the mobsters, that big fat Jimmy, and the other guy was a little thinner, a little smarter. Jimmy wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. So they would sit there, he'd stand there, and the guy would go, hey, listen, we're just checking on your garbage. We're making sure everything's good. And he knows these guys are with us. He goes, you're getting charged $50 a month. And the guy go, what? Or $60. He'd say like $10 over. He go, what are you talking about? He goes, I got it in the book. You're getting charged, $55 a month. You guys really getting charged $45. Now the guy goes, no. Then he goes, whoa. You only been paying $45? Oh, let me call the office. Never call a person. Pick up a phone. Yeah. Hang up the phone and say, listen, all I know is they think you're paying $55, but we're going to make it $50, and I can push that through to the boss. So we raised everybody $5 on the whole route. Add that up in businesses, man.
You guys ruined everything.
We ruined it. I tell him about how we corrupt everything, and he goes, why should I vote? He goes, then you know what we used to do to him, Jimmy?
Mayor Koch. Remember Mayor Koch?
Oh, my Ed Koch. Hey, this is what we did.
I know him well.
You know what we used to do, too? You're like this. Jimmy was fat. I told you, 400 pounds. So we get him a job in the tow service, towing car, with the tow service. Now, he was so fat, he couldn't bend down and put the hooks under the car. So we'd follow him around when he went on a thing, and he couldn't get up. So he would give the person the hook to go put it under the car.
Get out.
I swear, we're laughing our balls off. And we would crack up like you wouldn't believe. We had so much
Was your
fun.
main job just watching Jimmy?
One of our main jobs, besides stealing and getting hot goods out of every trunk. How many
seems
hot?
like you were there
did you
for every
ever buy
Jimmy's
anything that wasn't out of a trunk?
Maybe I bought meat out of a trunk.
Meat. How about underwear, socks, sweatsuits?
Sweatsuits, perfume. I think.
How about radios, VCRs,
all the back of the supermarket? It was always.
Nick goes, I hate you guys up north. You ruin everything, and then you tell me to be legit.
It was. But think about this. It was survival of the fittest. It was the jungle. You think about the hierarchy of the jungle. I mean, the lions. I mean, it was either kill or be killed. It was eat. You had to have a mindset of survival.
That is why, Pete, I always say to people, listen, no matter what you think of us or whatever, New Yorkers are fast. They're good. You get them down here, they walk over people because they're so fast. They think on their feet. They're looking out for the next hustle. You know it, and I know it.
It's that
you
grind,
get a bunch
man.
of Nick is really like that. He comes from St. Louis, so he's a city boy. Well, if you could consider that a city, he shows me the city. I go, "Where's the buildings? There's no buildings."
My son lives in Kansas City.
But there's no buildings. Even St. Louis. I go, there's 5 buildings down there. Was that the city? He goes, but he lived in the city. His city is the suburbs to us.
Oh yeah, that's that's.
You know what I mean? There's no big buildings.
No, that's.
But he goes, I lived in St. Louis in the city. I go, where's the buildings?
No, it's
Lived on the south side.
I think
of St. Louis.
And I think that's where you get that mindset.
And then I showed you the downtown.
It's like
I got to go there with you.
And you were like, "There's 5 buildings here." And I was like, "That's it. That's the downtown, man." We have the big arch, and then like five big buildings.
Building to us was 6 stories, and then there was a projects with about 18 stories.
And then you go to Manhattan, and there's 100 stories, 50 stories, 80 stories.
Oh, I know.
I think
dived
that's
off
the
them.
mindset people got to have. Even if you weren't born in New York, you got to have that hustler's mindset. Like no one's gonna stop you. You know, you got to wake up no matter.
And you're
what.
gonna fail. I always tell everybody
You're
you're
gonna
gonna
fail
fail.
You're gonna fall on your
But
face
one
a
of the guys who quit, they're weak.
Yeah.
Just fucking go forward. And if it takes, get a gun and rob fucking someone.
Think about
No, I'm
this.
only kidding, everybody. I'm
Well,
only
no,
When
it's
you
true.
had a-
You know,
when you-
like if someone needs to eat, you know, you
No,
gotta do
no.
what you gotta do.
You know, I'll tell you what. You know, I'm an honorary police
Gotta
officer.
do what you gotta
know
do.
that? I'm an honorary police officer. I'm not a cop lover, but I'm an honorary police officer in St. Louis, Lake St. Louis. Nice town. That's really the city, right? Lake St. Louis.
No.
So anyway,
It's like that is the suburbs down
I'm in
there.
Lake St. Louis. I'm like, you know what, the chief, and I really got along great with him. That's right.
It's like 50 minutes from St. Louis.
He says to me, he goes, Larry, he goes, you know why I respect you? He goes, what people don't get is you're so honest. I, right now, will rob you and shoot you if I have to, if it meant my family eating or me surviving. People don't, you know, we judge other people on what they have to do to survive, but we don't realize we would do the same exact thing. If it meant my mom eating or starving, guess what? Somebody's dying.
Yeah.
You know,
That's what I just said, and you said you shut me down. I just said
no,
that.
what I'm getting at.
It
is
sounds
If somebody
a little
needs,
more faster than
if
that.
someone
I'm a
needs to
little
get
bit-
robbed, somebody needs to get robbed. If
but
you, I
wait,
said
hold
if
on,
you need
Nick.
to eat, I just said that. I'll play it back.
Nick,
I just said
I know,
that.
but we don't need to do that. You know?
You said, but if I say,
Listen,
you know?
Nick, I'll help you out.
It sounded.
I wasn't
nice
saying
when you
I'm
said
gonna do
It
it.
sounded nice.
I love it.
You know, it's like-
He got
It
you.
sounded cool.
He's
It
slick. This
sounded
kid.
too cool.
This kid's slick.
Yeah, I like it. Nick is good.
I wasn't saying I'm gonna do it. I'm just saying if somebody needs to eat, somebody's getting robbed. Like it boils down to
Guess I've
that.
been robbing my
If your
whole
kid
life.
needs formula, you're going into Walmart and you're stealing formula. Like that's what you're doing.
That is true. That is true.
tough.
You know, and people think, oh, just go to the line and wait. You know, come on. They make things so difficult for people, and they really, there is such a haves and haves nots. But you know what I learned, and I know this is going to sound, you know, we know, and you and I will know this very much. The world's corrupt. Period.
It's
You know
shifted,
what?
man.
You don't
Just
say?
get on the right side of corruption. I hate to say
Jeff
that
isn't,
cynical.
but
I
Jeff
just think it's
isn't.
gotten soft.
No,
man.
No, Jeff isn't.
Jeff Bezos?
No.
He's a J.
I mean, I think it's gotten soft. Think about this in New York. If you had a car, you have to wake up 5 a.m.
To
and
move
it to
it.
the other side. We've gotten soft. I mean, everything is at your disposal.
Well, for street
Yeah,
cleaning, why are you moving
Yeah.
your car? Oh, okay.
Oh, because street
And
cleaning.
it's called
Every
opposite,
morning?
Opposite side street
Yep.
parking.
Every
Monday
morning?
and
Every other morning.
Yep, before 5
Like you
o'clock.
might have Monday and Wednesday to move it.
Jesus Christ.
You can't be there from 9 in the morning to 1 in the afternoon.
Yeah, ours was once a month. On like
Oh,
a
no, no,
Wednesday.
no.
I would pay the bums to watch the car.
Well, we used to do that whenever I went to Yankee games or stuff like that. You used to pay the guys in the bottom. You're better off paying a guy $25 or something. Watch my car, and that guy will be sitting there looking at your car because he's not getting that. He gets half the money and he gets the rest of the money. He literally be watching that car like this.
He won't touch it.
And he won't touch it. He wants his money, and he knows you're going to come back and do it again.
That's right.
And I used to have the same guy for years. That
Remember,
used to do
I
that.
mean, when it snowed in New York,
Oh.
I would see people shoot each other for a parking spot.
Oh.
I mean, it was. I think I don't know if it's just the New York mentality, but I think we've gotten weak in certain things, and we you can't be so freaking sensitive now. Everybody's so soft.
You know,
and
that's
sensitive, man.
cancel culture bullshit and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
All right, let me get back a couple of things before we got. You publish for a number of.
Yeah.
You publish for very famous people,
Yeah.
right? And you also publish for
Mom and pops.
mom and pop, a regular guy who wants to write a book.
Yeah.
Like you said, if you own a business, you're really smart to write a book. Correct?
The best lead generator for you is your book. I had a guy that he owned the mortgage business. He wrote a book about Dan Ortiz. He wrote a book about kids in the social media world. Had nothing to do with his business, but his business was able to scale because of that book. You know, it's different. Like, hey, check this book out. Like, wow, you're an author. You're trusted. So I think people just think they have to spend $100,000. It's not expensive anymore. Now, if you want to do, depending on the level that you want to do, that's what it is. Like a major publisher will, I mean, I know celebrities that they have to hire their own PR. They think the publishing company does not pay for your PR.
I know.
You got to get a PR person and pay
I'm
them.
the PR guy.
Exactly.
You are me.
Oh, what are you going to do for my book? I'm going to publish it. I'm going to send it around the world, but you better get your own PR. They think that the publisher does the
he's going to put you on Jimmy Fallon, all this crap.
You better get an Esmeralda Baez and you know, all these, you know, Dylan Kevo, people to give you that type of exposure, you know, because you won't get it on your own. Because the publisher's not going to spend that money.
See, and that's what I used to get. You know, I used to think all the time, what are you doing for me?
Yeah.
Here's what happened.
Yeah.
When they offered me the money for my book, I already wrote it. I already paid my author. Now what do you... They didn't give me any upfront help or anything. What are you doing for me? Oh, we're going to publish you. So am I going to publish myself. And I was way ahead of the curve because this was 2012, I think, or 13. I don't know what... Yeah, 12 or 13. And I did that, and... I'll tell you what happened. I was with a company called Noon and Ashley. Not Noon. I was with NS Beanstalk. It was a big. They repped Dan Rather, you know, agents and stuff. And then they had me. And you know, that's another thing I don't need. You know, I mean, you need you.
Yeah.
You need a guy that you can get along with, you can talk to, who has your best interest. You work a deal with him. He gets a piece of the action. Everybody's happy. Yeah. That's what you need.
It's called what I do with the major, you know, people is we call it an admin publishing deal. We're just the back end system. We do the admin part and they're the front end. Nobody's gonna sell your book more than you. You know, Lady Gaga, I was watching this documentary that when her book would come out, I mean her CD would come out, CDs, right?
CD.
You know, she
CD,
would go.
You know what a CD is?
Yeah, she would go to like 100. I mean, Walmart's and make sure that her book is. Her CD is at the front. This is Lady Gaga. You know she's gonna be a certified platinum. Whether you like her or not, she's gonna sell.
Oh,
but she
I love
would
her too.
hustle her book. Her CD. And the celebrities that push their book and they hustle, they do well. It doesn't matter what a PR machine is going to do to you. I could put your book in 10,000 Barnes and Nobles, but if you're not talking about it,
nobody knows about it.
No one knows about it.
And how many people go into those Barnes and
Like
Nobles?
Jimmy.
I mean,
With his chocolate.
Oh, absolutely.
He was hiring
you know who Mr. Beast is?
Yeah.
He was hiring his fans to go to Walmart and then put it, you know, nice and neat. And
yeah.
fix the
Yeah, you know, I
shelves
mean,
and
he's talking about one of the...
I've never done
he's
that. I've never got a Barnes and Noble and moved the book around.
He's a genius, that kid.
Yeah.
That kid's really
Mr.
genius.
Beast, I mean, he turned down $1 billion because he makes more. I mean,
He's a genius. The kid
is it
smart.
true that he took 1,000 people to some island and they got healed of blindness?
Nick will tell you more.
He didn't take him to an island, but he brought him to the doctors, and yeah,
He
there was
made
a type
1,000 people see, 1,000 people hear.
It was a type of blindness that is curable if you have the money.
Wow,
you know,
This
it's not
guy's
like
great.
they are like 100% dark blind.
He gave an island away. He gave an island away. He gave a jet, not a small plane, a jet.
You know what's the difference is? He wasn't afraid to fail. He wasn't afraid to take a step.
You know what people don't know about him? He's not a one-hit wonder. He's not an overnight success. That kid knows algorithm. That kid knows he's smart. Like you said, you know, like book covers is the same to me as a thumbnail.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
So you know that. He knows that. We know. You know that. It's all science.
Do you see that book covers change?
Books, they evolve. They evolve. Lately, it's bone white, red fonts, yellow, blue. A book is judged by its cover. Let me tell you something. A book is judged by its cover. And you got to be careful because when they're scanning your book, just think about this. The distributor is looking for like these specific type of books. And we write the right code, the right SEO, the right index. So the book will get the right rankings because we know that part. But you want to make sure that cover is crisp, clean.
But the cover change. You can change the cover.
You can
throughout
change
its
the cover.
lifetime.
Yeah, we are changing the cover.
I was
you
just
would call
making
it
sure
first
it was
edition,
normal.
a second edition, a
Yeah.
third edition. For
We're changing
copyrights.
it.
Yeah. I this is great, but definitely a newer cover, a more modern
Totally.
cover.
That's 10 years old, 12 years old. You know, I'll show you. We had flaps on the. Well, I'll show you some of it.
Yeah.
But we're changing things because I think you should do it. And just like videos, you go in the back, you change the thumbnails, you change the SEO, you change the tags, you change the descriptions. You know, the things you do. I mean, obviously, Nick and the younger crew are very good. I got a couple of really good young guys.
I'm verified on YouTube, and I haven't even launched my show. I had a good podcast for a while, but talking to you, I'm definitely I'll give you some knowledge on the publishing. You help me out with YouTube because I gotta get back out there. I think voice and video is the most important part, and it's free.
And here's the thing, though, what people don't know, and you'll know this, it's work.
Yeah.
people think this is not. Nick will tell. Nick works hard more than me. I mean, I do the content, but if I didn't have Nick setting things up, really yelling at me all the time, he drives me crazy because I'm getting old. I'll be 62 next week.
It's crazy.
62 next week.
You best days ahead of you. Man.
I agree.
Come on, man.
I'm not dying yet. No, I figure I get.
You're the last of the Mohicans, man. They don't make them like us anymore.
You know, I got 20 more years. That's it. Give me 20 where I can still get an erection and do right and all
20 prime years. I love it.
If not, I'll get the shot.
But what you said is right. It's my Instagram. It's at XP Lopez Jr. and it's I have a video guy and we sit down once every 2-3 weeks and we do video content. It's a lot of work. It's exhausting. And you got to just constantly be there, man. And sometimes you don't.
It's funny, really, Pete, because believe it or not, I'm always thinking content. Nick is too. We're always thinking content. And we'll be out somewhere. We're on a plane. We'll say, what are we good here? Oh, he'll stop me and say, do this. And I don't get it sometimes, but he does. Or I might have an idea and he'll get it after we talk about it a little bit or something. So, I mean... But that's what makes it fun, I think, I still enjoy, I like to take care of my mom.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do I think I would be here if I didn't have my mom? No. I'd probably be in Miami, Los Angeles. No, I don't know about LA. I'm not a fan. Nick is now because of the weather. It's so beautiful. Not New York.
That's the only thing I like about LA.
Huh? Yeah, the weather.
Nice.
The whole thing
but
is,
I also like
you
Montana.
and I can't go to New York unless I'm living in a beautiful penthouse in Manhattan. Because I'm not going down to the boroughs. I'm not going on the trains. You know the game,
the anxiety, man. I was like, whoa.
And with technology, we don't have to.
It's so crowded now. It's like, so, but.
I got an idea I think we're going to do. I'll talk to you about it afterwards. But anyway, so now to end this with you, how do people get a hold of you if they want to get more information? Do you have any courses or anything like that?
I have a master class. If you, what we'll do is I'm going to set up if you email tagline Larry Lawton, YouTube, I'll give 30% off, but it's www.publifypress.com.
We got to get all that for you. And we'll get all your info, your Instagram, we'll get all that.
And there's a free, we're offering a free book template, like how to write your book. But, we'll do some consultation. If you want to do it right, and you want it with excellence, listen, the dead rule the world today because of what we wrote yesterday. What's going to outlast you for the next 1,000 years is a book. Even this season, the last 2 years, physical books outsold ebooks and audiobooks. So
really?
books are going nowhere. The world was built on books.
It's an aesthetic thing.
It is. You need. So when people.
So my book is my legacy.
It is
my cigars. I said that.
I like that. Your book is your legacy. That is a clip you got to put. Your book is a legacy. It will speak for you. Think about the Bible. Think about Shakespeare. Think about Ernest Hemingway. These books have built who we are today. Music is good, but it has a little percentage of how it changed society.
Well, books again.
Books.
You do everything with a book. You could fix something with books. You could listen. They're from the turn of the century books. They've been around forever. So they're going to get hold of you. They can always get hold of me if they emailed us, Nick, or anybody.
What if we help a few people out? Maybe we'll come up with some type of co-publishing, me and you, and blow somebody up and be like, hey.
Listen, maybe we'll do a contest where we get somebody who has the greatest story they bring it in and we publish them. We do it right.
Pip my book.
No. Do it right. Do it right and show them and train them how to do things on media.
It's like that TikTok girl. She filmed her dad kind of down because his book was out for 14 years.
Oh, and it went viral.
And he only sold 11 copies. And then the next night he was a #1 author. And it just blew up. Yeah.
That would be cool. I think
we could do something and help somebody really good.
About books, I believe. Listen, man, my third grade teacher, Miss Tabucci, in PS 29 told me you should never ever write again. You have poor grammar. You can't spell, and you can't even
F yourself.
I like that.
And 12 years later, I've published 1,000 books, man. Don't ever let anyone tell you it can't be.
That's what Jude
Don't
said.
ever let anyone limit you, Larry.
That.
Man, you were born in the concrete jungle, man, and look at where you are right now. You started late. and look at what you are. Like, it's never too late to get started.
I talk to people about that, and I'll just end on that with you and I like that idea. We're
Yeah.
going to run something by that.
That'd be cool.
Where we actually put criteria together. We take a really needing, and I don't care where they're from, and what we'll do is give them media training, give them help,
some
do
gasoline on
everything,
that book.
and make it. Got to have a story. Got to work hard because if they don't want to work hard, we're not doing it for them.
Nope.
But we're going to show them how, and we're going to put it up for them. We'll do everything. But what I often tell people, Pete, is I got out of prison at 46 years old.
Good Lord.
They took $6 million from me when I went to prison. I came out in debt in prison with the worst record in the world. Obviously, I got a pretty bad record, and I'll show you that one day. And you know what? You can make it with hard work, with passion, never quitting, and that's the concrete jungle. And you're like that too. That's why we connect. Yeah. But I want to thank you, Pete, for coming on the show.
Sir,
I really
mean
that.
Larry.
Had a great time. I hope the audience learned a lot. Nick, any questions? Anything going on here?
No, nope, not right now.
Not now. Pete, again, we'll do it again for sure.
Yeah.
And I'll help you with anything you need.
No, I appreciate
it. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great day. Make good choices.
Don't touch
and
anything.
See you Monday.
It's the greatest find yet. Nothing compares.
Program note. We are going to be changing our air dates on Tuesdays and Fridays. It used to be Monday and Friday. We got the weekends on. It's Tuesday and Friday, and we will have the videos up with the podcast. Have a great day, everybody. Please stay safe, and I'll see you Tuesday.
Don't touch anything. It's the greatest find yet. Nothing compares to it.
But it's definitely something you should hear.
This is The Real Deal with Larry Lawton.